Yo, every time I hear that intro beat, I'm expecting like 8Ball and MJG like to just hop on that joint and just start flowing. How much y'all think 8Ball and MJG charge for a verse? A lot, right? That would be tight if we could get 8Ball and MJG to do like the intro for. Oh shit! Look at that. Brilliant ideas. As soon as I step into the joint with all my people, the ideas just start coming. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Burn It Down with Kim Brown. You already know what this is. This is a safe space to set oppression ablaze. And we are going to burn the shit out of some oppression on this here Friday. I hope everybody is feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Hey, I see all of our people in the place. I see that Black Magic has already cashed at us $15 because Black Magic is a boss who does boss shit apparently on a regular basis as a supporter of the Burn It Down with Kim Brown channel. Black Magic, thank you so much for your love and for your support, darling. Thank you. That was so kind of you. Hey, gang. A lot. There's so much going on, and I'm going to try to hit couple different things today, including how House Democrats, guys, did y'all see this last night? Now, there was a lot of congressional activity over the past couple of days with Congress, or at least the House, voting to form this January 6th commission, and then there's some other shit going on. But an update on some things that we have been talking about here on the program. So as it relates to Israel and Palestine, there has been a tenuous ceasefire put into place, which really doesn't mean shit because Israel still got the apartheid state on and popping. They still got the blockade on and popping. They still will fuck with Palestinians in Gaza at will. So if the bombardment of missiles is quieted or hopefully gone away altogether, cool, but they've already destroyed so much, killed hundreds of people, dozens of kids. So this part of it is not over. But one thing that we talked about was how the Biden administration had approved a missile sale, $735 million worth of missiles. Well, Bernie Sanders, Bernie and Rashida Tlaib at AOC did what do they call it? A Hail Mary. Let's call it a Hail Mary. We'll talk about that coming up in the show. We will also discuss how House Democrats voted for a $1.9 billion police stimulus bill. I mean, there's no other way to phrase it. They're calling it almost $2 billion for U.S. Capitol security. Mind you, the U.S. Capitol was supposed to have been one of the most well-guarded places in this entire nation. Well, January 6th showed that that was not the case. And in order to not replicate the invasion, the insurrection that happened on January 6th, Congress seems to think that all these people who run the U.S. Capitol Police, Secret Service, et cetera, that, you know, their $500 million budget wasn't enough. They need double that to be that incompetent, man. Money don't fix dumb, okay? Look at the Trumps. Money don't fix dumb. And the dumb is dumb. And anyway, we'll talk about that. And basically how the Democrats, it was Democrat versus Republican, pretty much. The vote broke down along partisan lines. 6 Democrats, however, did not vote in favor of this security bill. 3 abstained, 3 flat out voted no. And I want to ask y'all, is it cowardice? Well, let me rephrase. They didn't abstain, they voted present. So is it cowardice to vote present when you just could have voted no? It's some liberal favorites who went down that road. So we're going to get into that. First of all, who we got in here? We got about 41 people in here. Who I see? I see Afraid Not. I see Anna up in the joint. I see Radical Leftist Agenda. I see Liu Kang up in here. Alicia's up in here. Everybody's up in here. What's up, Pookie Wood? Thank you, Pookie Wood, for coming to party with us over on the Black Power Media channel for the Remix Morning Show. I definitely appreciate that. What's up, y'all? Who is that? I can't read that. But thank you. Okay. But the place where I want us to begin is going to be down in Elizabeth City, y'all. And it's so eerily reminiscent of what happened with George Floyd, except for the fact that these folks in North Carolina are still very much in the streets, despite the fact that the district attorney announced that there would be no charges filed against the sheriff's deputies who shot and killed Andrew Brown Jr. while he was in his car, in his driveway. Doctored, edited. Well, let me not say it was doctored. Well, I guess edited is doctored, right? Yes. Doctored, edited footage, selected images were released by the police to fit their narrative, right? Should not shock us at all. But one thing I wanted us to bring y'all are some very, very poignant scenes from the streets, because I don't know. I don't feel as though media fully encompasses the passion, really, of what the streets bring during these types of actions and demonstrations. And mind you, all of these people in Elizabeth City would prefer that Andrew Brown be alive, right? There's no way around that. So the fact that they have been steadily marching, protesting, showing up at some elected officials' houses, right, for weeks now, just goes to show you that they are in this for the long haul. And I want us to take a look at some actions. But before we do, we're going to hear from a national voice that is North Carolina all the way. Y'all know him, Reverend Barber. Reverend Barber gave a very he had some very strong words. You know, his strength is in his subtleness, right? I mean, he's very direct, but you know what I mean? His delivery is not, you know, fire and brimstone, but he's just giving it to you straight. Tune in. If we could please, can we please take a peek at 8-2? I want to hear from Reverend Barber before we take a look at the protest scenes, and the protest scenes are amazing, but Reverend Barber, poignant as always. Tune in. If we could please take a listen at that.
Community North Carolinians, people all over the country, we must stand strong in Elizabeth City. And we saw today what D.A. Wamba did. It is just wrong. He said in his press conference that they had to stop Andrew Brown. They could not let him go. But no gun was found. There's no officers hurt. He was shot in the back of the head. The warrant was not bring in dead or alive. It's not the way we operate in America. But then he said something worse. He said the only recourse people would have is at the ballot box next year. If you don't like what I did, don't vote for me. But that's not America either. We have a federal review. We have a Justice Department. We can have federal investigation for patterns and practice. The FBI is already there. So I'm glad that people in Elizabeth City are still marching. We're gonna still join them. Stay tuned, because we're planning something in a major way. There must be a federal investigation of this, regardless of what the FBI said. We've seen this before in North Carolina. We've seen the FBI do this before, and others do these kinds of things before. There's still been no full review of the tapes by the public, the family, and the lawyers. This DA has not been under any cross-examination. Instead, he has acted as though he is the defense lawyer for the officers rather than the lawyer for the people, the DA for the people. They had to stop him, dead or alive. Only way he can be put in check, only way there can be any recourse is at the ballot box. No, he's wrong on both points, and wrong when it comes to the law. Again, he proves himself inept, incapable, and incompetent of fully handling this. We should have had a special prosecutor. We must now have a federal review and a federal investigation. This is Bishop William Joseph Barber II, who repairs the breach, saying to you, we must stay together, because until there is full accounting and full transparency of what happened in Elizabeth City, to Andrew Brown Jr.
Reverend Barber there, just giving it to you straight, man. There is no reason why these tapes have not been released. If not for the reason of the district attorney or the prosecutor trying to protect the police, which again, I can understand Reverend Barber's frustration and disgust with this, but at some point we have to address these scenarios as to be expected, right? Like when a prosecutor actually tries to go after or bring charges against a killer cop, like that's sort of like the outlier. That's unusual, right? But unfortunately, we should expect prosecutors to be incredibly hostile, reluctant, not even beyond reluctant, defiant, right? Just outright refusing to pursue justice on behalf of Black people. And I can't stop thinking about how, and I didn't want to play the prosecutors, the district attorney's press conference because it was so fucking disgusting. Like him and that twang talking about the violent felon. I was like, dog, I'm about to throw something and break my own shit because his whole tone and demeanor just really made my blood boil. But like Reverend Barber said, like the DA acts as though that they are the defense attorneys for the police, pretty much wherever you go. Tunde, if we could, y'all, I wanted to take a look at some of this protest footage because, again, North Cat, stand up, where you at? I see where you at. Y'all in Elizabeth City, turn it up, show it out. Not waiting on nobody. You feel me? I want us to take a look and let me credit all the journalists that were out there on the scene whose videos that we are about to take a look at. So Ayano Nagashi, gosh, I hope I'm saying that right. Nagashi, Nagashi. My apologies, darling, for mispronouncing your name. I'm trying, but you shot some amazing video. The first 1, 2, 3 videos are theirs. They are the social justice watchdog reporter at the new leader now for USA Today. And we're also going to see footage from Joe Fisher TV from WRAL. And at the end of this segment, like montage, y'all know how we do. We're about to play all mashup, different people's perspectives and different angles of the demonstrations. And this is probably over the course of a couple of days. But the last clip we're actually going to see some journalists and activists arrested last night in Elizabeth City. So Tunde, if we could rock with that whole A1 montage, y'all. Watch people show up. Watch Black people show up. Watch our allies show up out here demanding justice, demanding that you release the tape, release the whole tape, release the real tape about what happened to Andrew Brown Jr.
The whole tape! The whole tape! The real tape! The real tape! Release the tape! Release the tape! Release the tape! Release the tape! The whole tape! The real tape! Andrew Brown! Say his name! Andrew Brown! Get your knees off of our necks! Get it! Shut it down! Straight up, get it! Shut it down! Get out your dogs and get to the street! Get out your dogs and into the street! Get out your dogs and get to the street! Get out your dogs and into the street! Get out your dogs and get to the street! Get out your dogs and into the street! It's there now! Andrew Brown! Who street is this? I'll see. Yo, Pepper State never doing shit. Hey, yo, bro. How come you never doing shit, bro? Yo, I'm telling you, when niggas start knocking out, fuck out of the problem. Take your fucking badge off. Get the fuck out of here. If you ain't gonna do shit, take your fucking badge off.
USA Today. USA Today. Ayana Naga Ishii, Allison Cutler. We work locally for the news leader in the state of Virginia. And we came out here to cover this. News reporters? Yes, all right. We got you guys. We got you. You can say I'm leaving. I'm going to my car. I'm leaving. Even if you're because it's an unlawful gag. Being here is now unlawful. There are police officers walking toward us. Police officers are walking toward the protesters. Not just one now. As I know you can see, there are second one. A second person has been arrested. A third person has been arrested over there.
You know what's amazing? I mean, not just the protest scenes alone. And I was watching some of the comments. Guy Shaw said, get them started young about the young boys taking the bullhorn and leading the chants. Absolutely. Cryptician, let us know that we holding it down for North Carolina. But that last scene there, I mean, is the Department of Justice curious at all as to why police departments really seemingly across this country have no problems like detaining press and arresting press for doing their job? I mean, it's sort of like the compounding, cascading, like fuckery of just not abiding by the Constitution at all, right? I mean, they violated, I'm very sure, Andrew Brown's rights, civil rights in some way. But when people come out, activists, protesters are targeted, no doubt, but why y'all targeting the press though? Like, why are you targeting media at all, right? Another constitutional right that police don't give a shit about. And apparently can't nobody make the police do anything. So there's that. I'm not sure what the whole outcome is going to be in this case with Andrew Brown. First of all, if we can get the tape out, like that would be a step, I suppose, in the right direction, though we already know what happened, right? And the discrepancies coming out of from the police and from the district attorney down there are versus what the family's autopsy found regarding Andrew Brown's injuries. They're already trying to obfuscate, I suppose, the facts, right? Because I'm going to believe what the family's autopsy got to say, because the state has proven itself time and time again, not only to be unreliable, but will lie deliberately in order to protect itself. And what I don't understand is, like, if you feel as though the officers were justified or the sheriff's deputies were justified, then why not release all the video, right? The cover up is what really makes people want to go set shit on fire, right? It's like, if y'all would just own up and say, yeah, we did it. I mean, that is what they said. But at the same time, they are holding back so much evidence and information and stuff that clearly will contradict their presentation of the facts. Like, that's the only reason to withhold the video, right? Because the entire video viewed in context goes 100% against what the fuck you just told everybody what happened. And I didn't pull the video that they released because, number one, it's fabricated, right? Like, it's a fabricated piece of information. I can't even call it evidence because it's some shit that they spliced together. Like, evidence is shit that is untarnished, right? Unaltered, unedited. So, you know, in any funny business can be clearly at least known to whomever is watching this, right? But it's like, at least maybe release the entire video on your YouTube channel or something, right? But they're not going to do that because they know that they straight out murdered Andrew Brown. Just like that case out of Louisiana that made news this week. It was from 2 years ago. 49-year-old black man allegedly fled from the police, Louisiana state troopers, and when they caught up with him, they fucked him up, and he eventually died from his injuries. But they originally said, the Louisiana state troopers, that he died in a deadly car crash. His car hit a tree, and that's what killed him. Well, that was a big lie. And all those troopers in Louisiana are still very much on the job, except for one. Actually, I think one killed himself when they heard either they was going to be fired or charged. But I don't think charges were forthcoming. But anyway, I'm so tired, y'all. Aren't you just? I'm so exhausted. Like, this does not end. What happened to Andrew Brown happened the same day that the Derek Chauvin verdict was announced. And if anybody got on television or any sort of media outlet that you heard that said, "Ooh, the Derek Chauvin conviction is a victory for justice. It's justice. It's justice." No, motherfucker, it is not justice. It is this much justice. And that's not even, right? I'm sorry. It gets me so angry. Like sometimes, y'all, like there are some stories that I will omit or I will honestly try to avoid because they make me so very emotional, like talking about them, right? And it's not lost on me that what happened to Andrew Brown is not being treated as sympathetically, I suppose, as George Floyd was. And perhaps it is the drug warrant that is perhaps making him less sympathetic, right? In people's opinion. Because, black people can't be committing any crimes. Like, black people have to be perfect. I mean, they got to be on the church. I mean, they can't even be perfect. I'm thinking about Botham Jean, the young man in Texas who the cop walked in his apartment, right? And they was trying to blame him somehow. But because Andrew Brown Jr. was being served a drug warrant, allegedly had drugs on him, no gun was apparently found on his person. I don't understand why that's maybe not getting the same resonance. Or maybe it's because the tape hasn't been released, right? The George Floyd tape, tragically, was independently captured by bystanders. But this encounter, the video of this encounter with Andrew Brown Jr. exclusively is held by the police. And they know that. They know that. The judge who gave the cops 30 days before releasing more footage, which what we got was that altered, doctored version, they knew that. So I guess they're just trying to buy time. If they don't want Elizabeth City to burn down. I'm not sure, y'all. Hold on. It's ever Big Teal. Big Teal said we will not be anyone's perfect victims. No, they think our children are guilty, right? Like Trayvon Martin didn't have a right to defend himself. Tamir Rice shouldn't have been playing with a BB gun in an open carry state. Like, where are the fathers, right? That's what these assholes are. Get the fuck out of here. You want to smack niggas, I swear to God. Well, where should we move on to next, guys? Let's go on over to the Middle East, because we have been, and as the whole eyes of the world have been focused on the blatant human rights atrocities that have been happening in Palestine. Somebody left me a very long comment under one. It must have been the video from Tuesday or maybe last week when we talked about Palestine. And it was such a long comment. I didn't delete it yet because I didn't finish reading it because the joint was long as shit. But this Venmo was, he led off, and I'm assuming he, because, it was a tone that men are superior at, darling. But they led off with, how would you feel if rockets were constantly being fired? I'm like, bro, hold on. Surely you are not comparing those firecrackers that is being fired from Gaza to the fucking Scud missiles or whatever the fuck Israel got to. Come on now. Look at the death toll scoreboard. Israel killed 10 times more people in Palestine than Hamas. And again, I'm very reluctant to say Hamas because again, I am not so fluid or rather versed in the Palestinian political structure. I don't know if everybody even fucks with Hamas, right? Like the TV keeps saying, yeah, Hamas. I'm like, nigga, do they even fuck with Hamas? Like, is that official? I mean, I know Hamas is a political force and a militant force, etc. And I know they had some political might and sway at one point in Lebanon and some other places around the world. But again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert on this situation. What I am quite confident in is that it is David versus Goliath, quite literally. And the Palestinian people have been on the losing end, by and large, by any sort of military engagement with Israel. So it's not even a fair fight. And we know that Israel started it. So that's not even, none of this is even up for fucking debate. I don't even want to hear no shit from no motherfuckers writing me no goddamn letters in the fucking comments. But one thing I want us to do, I want us to remember at least one person who was killed in Palestine by the attacks from the IDF. And this is a very, very stunning scene for the funeral of a 17-year-old named Mohammed Kaiwan. Actually, he was not killed. He was killed by Israeli police, shot 8 days ago in the town of al-Fam. Okay. This was published on Diana Butu's Twitter page. And it is a very somber scene, but it's thousands of people, guys. And I want y'all to check out just the level of, I guess, suffering that the Palestinian people are experiencing because police are killing their kids too, right? So the struggle is absolutely global. That is why we as Black people and descendants of African people, that's why we stand with Palestine, because we see exactly the same situation, the same oppression, the same apartheid, the same genocide being repeated right there in front of us in the 21st century, being beamed around the world. Today, if we could please take a look at B1. Incredible scenes there, y'all, from Palestine. Mohammed Kaiwan, 17 years old, shot and killed by Israeli police during this latest siege of Gaza by Israel. B2, get that queued up if we could today, because this is a piece of video that I saw on Twitter. I was like, for real, dog? Like, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing something exactly like this on American soil, probably this summer. If people take to the streets and all these very restrictive state laws that have passed, really restricting rights and safety for demonstrators, people who are blocking roadways, etc. I have a feeling we're going to see exactly this piece of Israeli equipment in the U.S. this summer. Mark my words. This is a video credited to Jake Hanahan, a journalist who is covering what's happening in Palestine. And it reads, the IDF, the tweet does, the IDF has been using small drones to drop tear gas on protesters in Ramallah in the West Bank. Y'all check out this shit. No, you don't have to play it. I mean, I don't know. Do y'all want it? No, I know. No one wants to see that again, right? Well, maybe run it one more time. This might be like the Black Mirror shit where we all watched Black Mirror and then Boston Dynamics came out with the fucking robot dog. We were all like, what are you doing? But yeah, Tunde, I know it's quick, y'all. Run it again. Yes, the tear gas being dropped from the drones. Timed out to inflict maximum harm on folks, right? It's amazing that anyone put any sort of thought, effort, conception into that sort of, I hate it here, y'all. Y'all think that's going to be on the streets of the U.S. this summer? I do. I absolutely do. And Joe Biden's going to help him get it too. Joe Biden, speaking of Israel, right? So Joe Biden is I don't know if he's self-congratulatory or what. I mean, I guess maybe he thinks that him calling Netanyahu earlier in the week, asking for the ceasefire, actually led to the ceasefire. I do not think that is the case. Netanyahu just says, yes, thank you, fuck you, pay me, basically, to America, takes U.S. government funds by the billions and does whatever the hell it wants, apparently under tacit support of the U.S. government. But Joe Biden was out in Michigan earlier this week, right? He went to, I believe, the Ford plant to tout his, economic stimulus bill, but Rashida Tlaib, representing Michigan, representing Detroit, representing Dearborn. Rashida Tlaib, pop that photo up, Tunde, if you haven't already. Rashida Tlaib ran up on Joe Biden on that tarmac, like, hold on, champ. Let me holler at you 1 second, cuz. What the fuck is you doing? I hope that's what Rashida Tlaib said to him. Oh, man. Wouldn't that be awesome if Rashida Tlaib asked Joe Biden what the fuck was he doing? I would have enjoyed that very much. We're going to imagine that that's what happened. That's probably not what happened. We're going to pretend it did. Rashida Tlaib asked Joe Biden what time it was. She said, my people are there right now, Joe Biden, suffering, under attack, under siege, under bombardment, under apartheid, under blockade, under occupation. And you about to send them $735 million worth of missiles to do what exactly? To shoot at my relatives some more? And Joe Biden, in true liberal patronizing form, I mean, the only way that a white Democrat can come across is patronizing as fuck, like trying to fake all this empathy and compassion. And I feel so bad and I understand where you're coming from. Meanwhile, why are you selling these motherfuckers weapons, Joe Biden? But peep Joe Biden, though. Joe Biden was in Dearborn at giving a speech. Rashida Tlaib was in the audience. And this is what Joe Biden y'all tell me if y'all think it's patronizing or not. Tunde, if we could please run that clip.
And Rashid Tlaib, where's Rashid? I tell you what, Rashid, I want to say to you that I admire your intellect, I admire your passion, and I admire your concern for so many other people. And it's from my heart, I pray that your grandmom and family are well. I promise you I'm going to do everything to see that they are on the West Bank. You're a fighter, and God, thank you for being a fighter.
Hey, man, if you're going to wish my grandmama well, can you at least call me by my actual name? He called that woman Rashid about 3-4 times. Where's Rashid? Where Rashid at? Right? Meanwhile, it's probably about 5-6 Rashids in Dearborn rocking big ass beards. Like right here. No, we have Rashida, Jesus Christ. You don't even know. Why'd y'all vote for Joe Biden? Why did y'all vote for Joe Biden? I'm so mad at y'all for voting for some fucking Joe Biden. Jesus. But hold on. But Rashida, where's Detroit? Shout out to Detroit action out there. What's up? Where's my little baby? My little babies. Brandon. Oh my gosh. I'm running. I just had a brain fart. Don't kill me. Anyway, hold on. But yeah, shout out to the good people out there at Detroit Action because they hold us down and they are big fans of Rashida Tlaib. And now I see why, because Rashida Tlaib is apparently not with the shits. Tunde, if we could please pop up B5. So Bernie Sanders, following the leads of Rashida Tlaib and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the House, introduced a resolution to try to stop the arms sale to Israel, the $735 million. Now, I'm very disappointed that, like, I almost feel as though this is like performance on Bernie's behalf, right? Because, and maybe even perhaps on Representative Tlaib and AOC's behalf as well, because y'all, this sale was announced at the beginning of May. It was announced before Israel started fucking with Palestinians at the end of Ramadan, right? Like that's when a lot of this stuff really kicked off because it was messing with people in the mosque doing their prayers, right? But Joe Biden's White House announced that the sale was happening like May 4th. And as I'm sure, as I hope all of our elected officials know, all of our Congress people know, sales to Israel don't go through the traditional 30-day congressional review period. They are expedited. They are given special status. So Israel shit only gets a 14-day review period, right? So that would have put that shit like last week or beginning of this week. And I feel like this Hail Mary was just too little too late. Just to say that, hey, we did something, which I guess maybe in these times, I mean, it's not enough, but maybe something is better than nothing, even if it's just symbolic. Like, I don't know. What do y'all think? Like, is it good enough just to get the shit on the record that you oppose this? Or if it's not actually going to happen, like, do you even bother? I feel like I'm asking like all these like open and like, let me read you what Bernie Sanders said. He confirmed this to USA Today. Get this off. Bernie said, at a moment when U.S.-made bombs are devastating Gaza and killing women and children, we cannot simply let another huge arms sale go through without even a congressional debate. Bernie, all of the niggas in the Senate and the House are mostly for this. Bernie goes on to say in his statement, I believe that the United States must help lead the way to a peaceful and prosperous future for both Israelis and Palestinians. Israel seems to be profiting like a motherfucker, prosperous as shit. Bernie Sanders, fuck you talking about? Bernie goes on. He says, we need to take a hard look at whether the sale of these weapons is actually helping to do that, make both sides prosperous, or whether it is simply fueling conflict. Bernie, stop playing, Bernie. You know where you at, Bernie. We are the war merchants. That is what we do. We deal in methods of death, right? Weapons of mass destruction. Like that's us. Like that's our specialty, dog. We got PhD doctorates. We got 25th level certification. I mean, no one does war and death and destruction like the United States. So again, like I'm sort of tired of people who I even consider to be on our side. Like, this is unconscionable. Like, how can we, dog, but this is what it's been. So like at some point it ceases to be unconscionable, right? It is actually the reality. It is the norm. Like this is what America does. Nick, we have not been doing this for a very long time. I'm trying to think, when was the last time like America was really minding its motherfucking business? And probably, I'm guessing, in the bad way, before World War II. Well, before we got into World War II, right? America was minding its business in the most horrible way possible by allowing the Holocaust and shit to happen. But that is another story. But and that is minding your business in the worst way possible. But can we mind our business in a good way for once? Or maybe stop arming nuclear armed wealthy nations who are bombing not nearly nations that have the military capability that Israel has. Oh, just get on my goddamn nerves. I'm in that kind of mood, y'all. I think I might be PMSing. So I'm just muttering at everything because everything is so ridiculous and making me mad. Although, stay tuned because I do have a piece of good news. The very last thing I'm going to announce tonight is actually a piece of good news. So there is good news on the horizon. Y'all stay with me for a minute here. It is very unlikely that Bernie's resolution and AOC's and Rashida Tlaib's resolutions are going to pass the House or Senate. So nice try. Maybe next time. I don't know. Like, what can we do to not have a next time, Bernie Sanders? That is perhaps maybe the better question. Like, how often does Israel come to the United States for arms purchases? How many missiles did we sell them? Are they going to run out of missiles? Like, maybe the next time we don't sell them missiles or we don't sell them any fucking thing. They can go to fucking Russia and get their shit. or at least not have the United States be complicit in this. I don't want them to get any weapons to fuck with Palestine at all, right? They need to leave Gaza, right, to the Palestinians and in the apartheid state, in the blockade, all that stuff. First and foremostly, in the genocide. If America wanted to do something good, they could totally do that. Courtney, the SLP, Pimp C, in the building. Thank you so much for that Cash App love, darling. I so appreciate that. You are awesome. We have a troll in the house, Chuck. Bounce that nigga up out of here. Bounce his ass. We don't have time for no foolishness. We're not tolerating no foolishness today. Not on PMS days. No. No foolishness allowed. Release the tapes. Speaking of Joe Biden, actually, see, my default position is to blame Joe Biden for most things. And being of my generation, having endured Joe Biden's policies my entire adult life, you can see how my default reaction is to blame Joe Biden for everything. However, this next piece of story that we are headed to, actually, Joe Biden's not even in this shit. Not yet. He will be. But as of current, he is not. Tunde, if you could please, which one am I going here? Can we go with C1, the news? The Democrats, if any Democrat like James Clyburn or any of these other sellout ass Sambos talk that defund the police cost us elections bullshit. Let's be clear. For elected officials, for most elected officials, not all, but for 90% of elected Democrats, defund the police is merely a slogan. It is not a policy position, right? Only a handful, let's say the Squad and maybe a couple of others, truly believe that defund the police is a policy solution to the level of police violence and police murder that Black and brown communities endure. But the rest of the Democrats love the police. They love the police so much at the federal level, at the state level. Just look at a Democratic mayor near you. I'm sure that Democratic mayor wants to wrap their arms by and large around the police, or absolutely run cover or run interference when police in your city or town does something horrible. But make no mistake, when it comes to where their priorities lie, as we examine budgets, budgets are a reflection of your priorities and your moral agenda, as it were. Democrats are all for the police. And this has been demonstrated and proven positive once again by a very narrow House vote last night, $1.9 billion to boost the security after the January 6th insurrection. If you've been watching this program since and before, hopefully January, you will know that not only me, but many of our guests that we have had talk specifically about police actions in Washington, D.C. We have been telling y'all that this was going to happen, that the federal government, federal law enforcement apparatus was going to get a major increase in funding when they already get shit tons of money. Today, can we take a look at C2, please? This is a tweet. Hold on, let me get to my screen. Yes, that is right. Quick update, y'all. Devastating news. This dangerous bill passed 213 to 212. Woof. With Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and Jamal Bowman abandoning their positions and voting present instead of against, thus supporting giving cops more money and weapons to use against the most vulnerable people. That is exactly what is going to happen. Thank you very much for that, Alex, with the multisyllabic Greek name. I'm not going to even try it, but we respect the Greeks. Delicious food, nice people, gorgeous men. Sorry, I got distracted. Thank you, Alex. Yes, Alex, y'all, amazingly. This is the point in time where in history where perhaps what is up is down, what is left is right. When when Democrats vote overwhelmingly to fund the police and the Republicans vote overwhelmingly not to fund the police, what is happening? Where are we? Are we in bizarre world? Is it still 2020? Did the plane even land? I don't know what's going on. But as I mentioned, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Jamal Bowman all voted present. They did not vote no. Who voted no? Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, and of course the goddess, Cori Bush. What's up, St. Louis? What's up, St. Louis County? What's up, 314? Cori Bush said, nah, Joe, we ain't doing that. Tuna, can you pop up that Cori Bush tweet for me, please? Because y'all know, and I'm so grateful. And again, y'all, we are not going to stand these politicians as individuals. They are not personality, cult of personality. We're not going to do that. Like, they work for us. We need to hold them accountable. Okay. Like, we like Cori Bush. We like Cori Bush so much. And I was quite encouraged that Cori Bush took this stance and she actually voted no. She is not with the shits. Cori Bush said the white supremacist insurrection was not a failure of funding, it was a failure of leadership. That's right. You can't stop white supremacy by investing in more money in policing, in a policing system that is built to uphold and protect it. Cori Bush. Y'all should be so proud of her, Ferguson. I'm so impressed with Cori Bush. But it's so weird. I don't know if y'all saw clips of when the vote was actually about to take place. And it wasn't so significant. That's why I didn't pull it. But Cori Bush walked up to the microphone and was like, yeah, y'all, I'm just here to tell y'all AOC said she's voting present. Now, why AOC ain't walk out there and say that herself, I'm not really sure. But that's what happened. So 6 Democrats did not support this bill. 3 actually voted no. 3 voted present. And I gotta tell y'all, bye, Susan. Bye, Susan. Thank you so much for coming to hang out, sweetheart. We so appreciate it. How are you going to sell this in 2022? Like, if especially, and again, here in the District of Columbia, it was particularly glaring the way that the white supremacist insurrectionists were treated, even before January 6th, versus the way that Black liberation activists were treated in the city. I mean, by leaps and bounds. And to make it even worse, not a federal issue, but just a local issue, just so y'all know, FYI, Metropolitan Police, DC Police have ordered twice as much pepper spray as they had last year. And the reason that they gave was that they ran out of pepper spray on January 6th. Mind you, these motherfuckers that showed up, if you go to one of our previous shows, were either Chuck Chuck Modiano or Sean Michael Love from Black House News was on, you'll see DC Police pepper spraying the fuck out of people at jail support, where it is not a confrontational sort of thing. People show up with supplies, with support to greet comrades as they are released on bail or released from custody. You know, and they doused people with pepper spray. So we already know what time it is because, again, I didn't see no rubber bullets being fired at the insurrectionists. I barely saw any tear gas. You know, all the flashbangs, all that shit was used extremely minimally on that Trump crowd versus how liberally it was used on Black folks and our allies. And the Democrats are all for this, all for it. Nancy Pelosi, now she didn't, I watched the when she spoke about this briefly yesterday, and it was very brief. She was more pleased about the January 6th commission getting a vote or getting approved. But she mentioned this very small, and she even threw in something about the custodial staff for the U.S. Capitol, which is a part of the bill I'm not familiar with. But hold on, let me back this up, y'all, because the U.S. Capitol Police who already have an operating budget of $500 million. Let me say that again. The U.S. Capitol Police by themselves, just them, have an operating budget of $500 million. And they're about to get a 20% increase in funding, over $100 more million in this bill. And when I think of the U.S. Capitol Police, first of all, we are going to do a whole show. Have I said this already? Have I already made this promise that we're going to do a whole show on January 6th? And if you follow me on Twitter, someone I quote tweeted someone who said, "Jesus fucking Christ, I'm so tired of hearing about January 6th." I'm like, bitch, January 6th was amazing. Like January 6th was out of this world. I'm so sorry that my grandparents were not alive to see January 6th, 2021. It was the most amazing thing I think I have ever witnessed with my own eyes in this nation. Cops and racists fucking each other up. Shorty, on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Shorty, it don't get more poetic than that. I mean, that is like that's a legend. Like that's a story. That is prophecy. Like, right? Like someone foretold this. And it came to pass. And y'all, we witnessed it. We have been here. I want to do a whole show on January 6th, but I need to find the right person who has been following like the charges, because I think it's over 400 people have already faced charges or have been charged in some sort of connection to this, right? Mind you, there's way more than 400 people out there. I digress though. And I want us to just spend the hour just looking at some of the footage. I mean, maybe, am I the asshole? I don't think I am. Because every time they show new footage, and by the way, the FBI dropped a new clip of cop getting fucked up. He didn't die, but he got his ass kicked. And I swear to God, I laughed. I found that shit to be so hilarious. Like it never not brings a smile to my face, right? Look at my enemies tearing each other to pieces. My God. I mean, it's enough to bring a tear to your eye. We are going to re-examine January 6th. Help me find y'all. Maybe y'all have some suggestions. Someone, a reporter, a journalist that would have to be cool with coming on this platform, right? There's a local guy who works at the NBC affiliate here in DC. His name is Scott McFarlane. Now, Scott McFarlane, I have been following his reporting, and I find it to be pretty credible and well sourced. Scott McFarlane probably ain't coming on board like Kim Brown. And that's understandable. I'm not even mad at Scott McFarlane at all. I get it. So if y'all know somebody who is about it, or if y'all have a recommendation, please point me to that person, because we need to, I almost want to have like a Kiki session over January 6th footage, because again, amazing. Go to my Twitter page, y'all. What the fuck is my Twitter? At Kim Brown Live. My background picture is the dude with his feet kicked up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. You know why? Because I fucked with that shit. I respected the sentiment of that, to be perfectly honest, and I'm like, damn, Charlie. Salute you, young man. Put your feet all over her desk. Fuck her couch. Okay. All of that. What time is it? I'm all over the place. Oh, good. Okay, I didn't even know that we was that close. Good. Democrats, y'all, love the police. Make no mistake about it. Don't you ever let them tell you any different. Only three, really, we believe, are not here to perpetuate the police state. Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Cori Bush. Now, we are not going to hold Jamal Bowman, AOC, and Rashida Tlaib. We're not going to be too mad at them, because at least they didn't cave and vote yes, right? Who's the House whip? Steny Hoyer? Yeah, Steny Hoyer couldn't whip them votes. Is he yeah, Steny's the House whip, right? Steny couldn't whip them votes. And I'm glad. That did show some resolve. Some might even, some might argue that they cowered it out by just not voting no. And I guess we'd have to ask them. And I hope that, their constituents will hold them accountable for the way that they decided to vote. or just vote president. I don't know. I saw that. Yo, we talked about that. Sumo Blackberry. We talked about how Italy did not allow munitions to be shipped to Israel. Man, you gotta catch up. we on top of things around here, man. We doing it. Did I say I had good news for y'all? I did have good news. So, despite all the bullshit we just looked at, the amazing scenes coming out of Elizabeth City, but yet the bullshit of the racist police state that is being protected by the criminal justice system in North Carolina, that notwithstanding, and then of course the atrocities happening in Palestine, and then Democrats voting to fund the police because, that's what they do. A piece of good news for y'all today. The Fight for 15 people tweeted out that in the state of Rhode Island, the governor there, Governor Dan McKee, y'all got to tell me about Governor Dan McKee. He friend or foe? Well, I guess he was friended on this day because the $15 an hour minimum wage is now law in Rhode Island. Yes. And of course, this was as a result of a huge unionizing effort, organizing effort. Let's take a look, actually. There's some video of this signing ceremony that happened in Rhode Island as the Fight for 15 was won and achieved. Congratulations, guys. That's what's up. Lateef, thank you so much, Lateef, for your love, for your support. Big ups to all the folks in the chat. What's up, chat? Is there anybody watching right now who is not subscribed? I know I've been bothering the shit out of everyone to subscribe, and I have a feeling everybody that is present has already subscribed, which is why when I ask people to subscribe, it's not going up that much. Hold on. Susie. What'd you say, Susie? John Farina, the photojournalist with Status Coup. He was inside the Capitol. Oh, CNN took his footage with no acknowledgement. Ain't that some shit? John Farina, Susie I. Thank you. Susie, are you the one on Patreon who ran us some bread? You don't have to send us no more money, Susie. You ran us some bread. It's cool. But thank you. John Farina, let me write that down. Status Coup. I think I follow Status Coup. CNN stole his shit. That's not surprising. And guys, speaking of CNN, I thought about making this a story today, but I opted against it just because I felt as though the situations happening in Elizabeth City, Palestine, and what the Democrat House just voted upon, I felt that was like way more serious or way more important rather. But that shit with Chris Cuomo, dog, let me explain something to you, man. There is not nary a black journalist, there's not nary a non-white journalist who would be able to get away with that fucking shit, that conflict of interest shit. And it seems as though like rules of journalism, although I understand these are not hard and fast rules. These are, professional guidelines, let's say, right? Because there's no journalism tribunal. Like motherfuckers are not going to bring you up on charges for being a shit journalist, right? They should. There should be some sort of professionality standard or some accountability somehow, some way. Northern Witch, what's up, sweetheart? Let me get to you back in a second. Thank you, Northern Witch. But that shit with Chris Cuomo, man. If you didn't hear. So even though Chris Cuomo was not covering his brother's sex scandal as the governor of New York, he was actively participating in ways to help, I guess, mitigate Andrew Cuomo's bad press, perhaps helping him strategize, which, as an objective journalist, shouldn't be your fucking job, right? But because this nation and American society is so obsessed with the intermingling of power and celebrity, like fuck Chris Cuomo. Is he a good journalist? From where I sit, not really. Remember we took a little spotlight on Chris Cuomo. He had his brother on before it was known that Andrew Cuomo was being a whole ass creep to his young female staffers. Oh, Chris Cuomo would have Governor Cuomo on and they would just shoot your shit. And mom said you need to bring some bread to the dinner on Sunday. I mean, really, just abject fawning and circle jerking between media elites and political elites. And Chris Cuomo falls in the middle of that Venn diagram. And it's disgusting that CNN has no intentions of disciplining him at all. Because why? The rules don't apply for white men. You understand? let Kim Brown try some shit like that, right? Dog. Now I'm mad. Y'all keep sending us money. What's going on? What is happening? Hey, Patreoners, don't forget, we're doing the AMA about 10 minutes after we wrap up here. And we are getting ready to wrap up here. Hold on. Thank you, Latif. Latif sending us some love. Man, did I miss Northern Witch? No, it got Northern Witch. Northern Witch said she tried to watch Tuesday's show video after the fact. I really missed the chat all. Love and solidarity to everyone. How kind. Thank you, Northern Witch. You are awesome. Did I see somebody up there ran us $10? If I missed you, I'm so sorry, but I'm deeply appreciative of your support of our program, y'all. But see, that is why it is so important for you all to support us here. And I'm not even about to like dry beg for anything. I'm just honestly expressing some gratitude because I understand channel is small. We're going to be big one day. Don't you fret about that. But the fact that we get over 80 some people, sometimes 100 people in here watching. And I know, again, in the scheme of the YouTube universe, I understand how small that sounds, but I am a grateful motherfucker. Okay. I'm grateful for small things. And y'all, 80 people didn't have to show up here today. But I would appreciate it if y'all hit some of them likes. So I said that actually, I changed the language a little bit on our about us in our channel description. So like free support is always welcome. And please support us for free by liking a video, sharing a video, or hitting subscribe. Like I appreciate that as much as I appreciate the money. That is a lie. I appreciate the shit out the money. So thank you all. Thank you all for providing material support, man, because y'all know how we even came to be birthed as Burn It Down with Kim Brown on our separate channel, because the four of us who work on this program, the four of us who work on this program got released from our positions, right? So we decided to keep this thing going. And wow, apparently, according to Republicans, Joe Biden is paying me to stay home. Thank you, Joe Biden. You still owe me $600, nigga. I ain't forgot. Howsoever, the material support that we get here is so important because as you see, we're trying to screw shit up. We're trying to get a little fancy with it. You see, Tunde got us looking extra crispy out here with the graphics and everything. So we trying to step our game up so we can become, financially viable. That would be awesome. Because guess what? And let me not speak for Tunde, Molly, and Jean-Pierre. Let me speak for Kim. Fuck going back to somebody's newsroom, shawty. Unless it is somebody that is willing to tell the truth about what's happening out here in the world, okay? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't. I've seen The Matrix, okay? Like, I can't pretend as though police aren't out here in whole ass gangs in Los Angeles killing people, like for Gang Inc., right? I can't pretend that the United States is funding the bombing of Palestinian children. Like we have to call a thing. We have to tell the truth. And that's why I'm very appreciative of a platform also like Black Power Media. Big up to Jared and Kalanji and Ear Doctor and everybody over there and Kamal, because that's the kind of shit we trying to do. So I'm so appreciative to be over there building with them and y'all over here building with us. And Afraid Not run us that $5, my G. That's what I'm talking about. Afraid Not. Me and Afraid Not was going back and forth on the post on the community about where y'all checking in from. And we know we got a lot of people out there in Washington State. Afraid Not is up there in Jersey. And anyway, so Afraid Not, thank you so much for everything, man. So guys, this is what we finna do. Oh shit. I'm sorry. I almost forgot. Y'all. Next week, I think I can announce this with some confidence. Next Friday, you have to tune in. Well, you got to tune in any goddamn way. Tuesday, Friday, 5 p.m. But please make it a point to be here next Friday. I'm very honored to have the opportunity to speak with Kelly Davis. Kelly Davis is the wife of Keith Davis Jr. And if you are on social media, you may have seen a hashtag saying free Keith Davis Jr. Well, Keith Davis Jr. is a man who is currently incarcerated. He is a victim of police violence and police brutality. He has been tried the same charges. They just granted him a new trial. I believe it's going to be trial number 5 for Keith Davis. And his family has been through absolute hell. And media in Baltimore does an amazing job of ignoring what happened to Keith Davis. And the way that State's Attorney, Marilyn Mosby, her office seems to have a vendetta against this family. And if you're on social media, like past couple of days, if you go to Baltimore Sun, there was an incident that's being widely reported in Baltimore Twitter where Marilyn Mosby was out and about in a public place and someone saw her and said, free Keith Davis Jr. And she flipped him off, gave him the finger, right? But then she lied about it, like sent out a whole tweet from the Baltimore State Attorney's Office Twitter page and said it was a thumb, but then came out and admitted to doing it, right? But if you lie about small things, like whether or not you flipped somebody off, I mean, you could just own that as a woman, as a grown up, because you did it, right? Why would you try to lie about it? Oh, and the whole incident was caught on tape. And people have slowed it down and blown it up frame by frame like it was the Zapruder film, right? So Kelly Davis is going to join us next Friday. She's going to talk to us about what exactly has happened to Keith, because it's important that we talk about victims of police violence and police brutality who live, right, who are still here. Of course, we hold up the names of those that police have killed. But police are out here fucking up people's lives, fucking up people's health on the regular. And as I said before, as we saw in Elizabeth City, the criminal justice system protects that, regardless of if there is a black face at the front of said, criminal justice system apparatus. Like Marilyn Mosby's office has handled Keith Davis Jr.'s case extremely poorly, like in the worst way possible. So please join us Friday as we speak with Kelly Davis. I'm very, very, very excited about that. But anyway, Patreoners, we're going to see y'all about 10 minutes. And get your questions ready. Hop in the chat. If you want to join us and you're not currently a patron, you can go to patreon.com/BIDWKB and get in for only $2, y'all. $2 gets you in, man. For real. It's so easy. Just $2. And we appreciate that. So you guys, thanks again for hanging out. Awesome show. Solo sesh. I forgot to roll weed again. That's a damn shame. But that is a mistake we will not make in the future. I will remember to have my weed president accounted for, and we will all get high together and boo Joe Biden. So you guys have a great weekend. Please, coronavirus, maybe not jumping on people as much as it was. But if you catch it, it can still fuck you up. You might want to consider getting vaccinated. I got my second dose last week. I'm spiffy, good as new. Ready to go do something. ready to get out the house and be amongst the living once again. So y'all, please be careful out here. We're still very much in a pandemic is all I'm saying. Wear your mask. Don't let nobody give you no shit if you want to keep your mask on, because I intend to keep mine on if I am in public spaces with a lot of people. So there's that. But anyway, we'll see y'all on Tuesday and Patreon. See y'all 10-ish minutes. Thank y'all. Love y'all so much. See y'all later. Bye bye.